Hey, howdy and a big welcome back to Clem Hawks, folks. I'm Yak, ready to take you through today's edition of MLB Trade Deadline updates, because we're no longer talking about rumors. We are talking about that stove, that hot stove. It is burning hot at this point. And friends, we are talking about the Boston Red Sox here, who I think just a little earlier have dealt Christian Vazquez to the Houston Astros. That, according to Ken Rosenthal, about half an hour ago. Sorry. Dusty outside, hot outside, terrible outside. Oh, pardon me, bless me. All right, anyway, folks, that cleared room, I guess, on the active roster to bring in Tommy Pham from the Cincinnati Reds. So it is now Tommy Pham being acquired by the Red Sox. Christian Vazquez out of Boston, according to sources here, Ken Rosenthal. I'll give you the tweet here on Tommy Pham. But folks, if you're new to the channel right now, as I take a few seconds, that's really gross. That's really friggin' disgusting. Anyway, as we take a few moments here to discuss Tommy Pham, I'd like to also ask you, if you're new to the channel, consider sticking around, hanging out with us, subscribing to here on Clem Hawks. We have gained like 200 actually, as of today, 200 subscribers in the past 30 days. So folks, thank you so much for joining in this journey. But as we sit currently, you know what? Talking about acquiring, growing, the Red Sox, who are struggling at the basement of the AL East, which is no basement at all, it is 500, my friends, find themselves now with a key piece acquired in Tommy Pham. And Tommy Pham is kind of that guy, I'd say over the past 5 years since he left the St. Louis Cardinals, that has been bouncing around to deadline contender to deadline contender. Ken Rosenthal actually tweeted out an article from 2019 when he was acquired by the Tampa Bay Rays back, in 2018. So, right, we're talking about a guy who's bounced around a little bit over the past 5-6 years, and a guy who's been on winning teams by this time every year for the past couple. So for Tommy Pham, he gets an opportunity to go in and be a veteran presence on the Red Sox, which they have a lot of, but they're also expected to part ways with one or two of those veteran experienced guys themselves, right? The Boston Red Sox, like I said, they find themselves all the way in the basement of the AL East, and they're in that kind of Minnesota Twins kind of right in contention, Milwaukee Brewers kind of situation, right? There's 3-4 teams in baseball right now that have to do a combination of things based on where they are, right? They have to sell, they have to buy, and they have to hold pat, right? There's going to be on each of those teams 4 to 5 guys that if they were sellers, they'd be selling all 4 or 5. If they were buyers, they'd be keeping all 4 or 5. But they got to figure out 2 are going, 2 are staying. You're bringing in good prospects. You're giving up good prospects. Maybe you're giving up a third guy out of those 5 that are on the roster, but you got to move them to make a deal, kind of like what Milwaukee did today. So there's a lot to these kind of teams, and especially for the Red Sox, right? What are we thinking about? We here on Clem Hawks, what have we already talked about? JD Martinez, potentially to a team like the Dodgers. Yes, you're stacking up a team, making them better, but at the same rate, you just acquired a guy like Tommy Pham, who in himself is a very good ball player when he's on the ball. And sure, you don't know what the return is yet for the Reds. We're talking about that, but I got ball myself. I got slow pitch mixed beer league at 7 o'clock in a town half an hour away from me. So I gotta get my butt in gear, but we gotta just talk about it because it's breaking, and we've been bringing you this news here on Clem Hawks all for the past 2-3 weeks now. So why stop doing a good thing that you guys are engaging with so much? But quite seriously, right? The Red Sox are that team that they're bringing in a guy like Tommy Pham, which normally means, hey, we're pushing for it down the stretch. But you're also potentially and more likely going to sell off a guy like JD Martinez, who is an invaluable asset to a team that wants to win baseball games just based on the skill set JD Martinez brings to a ball team, especially a team that has a fence like the Green Monster, where JD Martinez likes to launch balls over, right? There's a lot that complicates the factors for the Red Sox based on where they are and based on who they're moving, who they're not. Christian Vazquez, a very interesting move, but I think they've got some stuff that works out well for them at catcher. But you look at it, just move the pieces around, right? Like you're moving a player out to the Dodgers. Well, the Dodgers are guaranteed to be a division winner anyway. You're not fighting the Dodgers for the AL wildcard, right? You're not winning the AL East if you're the Red Sox. Same thing too, right? You're helping out the Houston Astros, sending Vazquez over there. You're not fighting the Astros for the AL wildcard. You're fighting the Blue Jays, the Orioles, the Rays, and the Mariners, and maybe one other team that gets hot down the stretch for one of those 3 spots. That's literally all you're doing. And that's as simple as it is if you are the Boston Red Sox, is you don't have to completely give up on the season, just like the Brewers, just like, right, anyone, the Twins. Yeah, the Twins are a division leader, but the AL Central's a crapshoot at this point. So why wouldn't the Twins try and sell off some pieces that they don't want for next year, try and gain some assets that are going to be valuable next year and down the stretch this year, and really just fit that puzzle together as nicely as you can, right? That is the fun part about this right now for teams like the Red Sox. And you know what? If you're panicking about that as a fan of the Red Sox, the Twins, or the Brewers, I think it's a little misplaced, because no matter what you do, as long as you don't completely sell off, you're still going to be a very valuable team in the playoff picture down the stretch. And at 500 at the trade deadline, you're with 3 wildcard teams getting in this year, you're not sitting there saying, well, our hopes are done, especially not in the AL East, especially not in the AL Central, maybe in the NL Central, but as far as I see, that place is a crapshoot too. So you look at it there, right? There's a lot to love about the teams that are in this situation this year, and you get to see it, right? Like, yeah, JD Martinez out, Christian Vazquez out, but you're replacing him with Tommy Pham from the Reds, who is not a guy that you're just acquiring because you need to fill a roster spot. That is not where Tommy Pham is quite yet. Obviously, I don't think Tommy Pham's at the height of his powers anymore. I haven't heard much about him this year, but he's still a very valuable asset for a team that wants to win, and that's where the Red Sox find themselves in acquiring Tommy Pham. Folks, that was a lot to talk about in 7 minutes. Sorry about the grossness off the top. Like I said, the allergies are all hyped up. Wow, it's whacked out, man. You go from air conditioning to 30 degrees to... It's a mess. It's a mess. But you know what? We're figuring it out, literally doing it live, because we got to go 30 kilometers that way to go to ball this evening in 30-degree heat. I'm Yak. This is Clem Hawks. Yup on. Out of here.